right, this is The Guys Next Door, brought to you by Picture Rocks Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing. I'm your host, Ron Arenas, with my co-host, Pastor John McLean.
Yes, sir. And as I was listening to that intro music, there are several instruments in that intro music I don't recognize. So I'm going to have to analyze that, play this back later. And I invite the listeners to do the same, that it's not your traditional instrument. So I don't know if you did that on purpose, but you're a wild card like that, so I wouldn't be surprised.
Sure, yeah, of course I did that on purpose.
Or you just like the song.
Or I just like the song, you know.
Yeah, that's what Ron does. That's what he does.
Because we're letting the good times roll.
Let the good...
You know, we have the best job in the world. It's just a bunch of us guys, our friends, talking to each other.
Talking about everything. Love it.
So that other voice that you hear on the other microphone is Robert Lizarraga from Compression Printing.
Hello.
Welcome.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah.
Compression Printing. Okay, nice. I just like Ron always does. I don't know usually who the guest is or even their business until we sit here at the table and throw in the microphone. So Compression Printing, I feel like I've heard the name, but for our guests that have never, our listeners that have never heard it before, fill them in. Who is Compression Printing?
Compression Printing is just a small little local printing company. You know, just do just about everything, you know, just accommodate the client. We do their branding, simple as business cards up to like retractable banners, design, webbing, you know, stuff like that. It all depends what they're looking for.
Yeah.
And we try to accommodate all clients. We work with a lot of new businesses who really don't even know how to start their marketing. First things first, let's see if you have a website. If you don't, then let's get you some business cards to go out there and start handing out, you know. So, and then from there, they start going into brochures, pamphlets, you know, other stuff. So that's what we do. We're just here to help the small guy to grow into a big guy like Ron.
Nice.
Oh, well, thank you.
No.
Well, I grew into a big guy because I ate all that spaghetti, too.
Well, yeah, that too. But I remember when you just had one truck.
Yeah, that's true.
And,
tell me this story. I need to know this. Because like you guys have been friends for a really long time, which is, I mean, for the listeners, if you don't pick up the theme, usually it's one of Ron's friends. Every now and again, one of my friends will come in, but you'll find a lot of Ron's friends that he's known for over a decade. We were talking about this in the green room before the show.
Yeah.
So I want for one of Ron's friends that he's known for over a decade. Tell me about back when Picture Rocks Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing only had one truck and how far they've come. Because I know, you know, I gloat regularly on this show how Ron's one of my mentors and one of the men I look up to, because even the short time I've known him, I've seen so much growth and I've grown so much. So yeah, that one truck time. I'm wasting all the time right now, but
no, that's fine. Hey, you know, Ron was needing some printing and he was working long hours, and then his father-in-law was helping him on the side, and you know, and next thing you know, he went from ordering 250 sets of invoices to 1,000, and then started ordering more product and ordering more shirts, which means more people came on board, more trucks were bought, to the point where he's on all different stations, you know, commercials and taking on plumbing and I even think construction as well. Some remodeling.
Some
you guys are working
yeah.
out. You guys are remodeling my bathroom.
Yeah,
it's beautiful.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
So I mean, from just an HVAC person to, you know, to plumbing and to construction, and you know, you've seen the growth, you've seen the expansion, you know, and it's hard not to remember where you were and where you are.
And it seems like compression printing has been such a big part of that growth. I mean, and imagine even what he's wearing right now.
Yes.
You know, you guys help create that. Talk about that and how integral it is in helping a organization go from one truck and that growth that you've been able to help with Picture Rocks Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing.
You know, he's evolved so much, and they've rebranded maybe once or twice, you know, which means the look has been different, but there's still the lion.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's, I think, the signature logo that he has. And it's been so awesome to be part of the growth and to see, you know, from 20 shirts to all of a sudden you're ordering 120 shirts. Well, you know, that just tells you, you know, what they're doing. They're doing embroidered shirts. They're doing hats. They're doing all sorts of different materials. We're doing pocket folders for them so that when they walk into a meeting with a client, they're well prepared, you know? And so that to me is somebody that's taking pride in what they're doing to attract new clients and to keep old clients, you know?
And I'll ask him, but I'll ask you first.
Uh-oh.
Why do you think he's stuck with you all this time and has, had you be a pillar of the growth of his organization?
Wow. That's a loaded question.
Yeah. So
It's a lauded question.
yes, I think one of the things is that Ron and I share the same faith.
Yeah.
And that's where our friendship started. And from that point, I always like to think that when I see a client or a friend whose businesses has evolved to where it is now, that they want to keep the same people along the journey that helped them get to where they wanted to go or where they are. You know, in this case, I can't even say he's probably grown over 1,000% since I first met him. And I believe that why not bring the people that were with you from the beginning?
Yeah.
You know, and it's called loyalty, you know, and that's hard to find these days. But not only that, we're good friends. We go out to lunch, and you know, there's many aspects of this relationship, not just the business. That's just part of it. You know.
Well, he gave me the gushy answer. You see if you have another answer for me, Ron.
Well, yeah, I would definitely repeat everything that he said, but yeah, it is important. And I'll say this, throw this in there, that this year in our business, we started something new, and we're doing a book a quarter for every one of our employees. And just to touch on what Robert said, our first book is called The Power of Consistency. So, yeah, if you have something that's working, keep doing it. And if we can grow and Robert can grow and the other people that are surrounding us can grow, we just all grow together.
Yeah.
You know, Ron, one of the things that catches my eye every time I see your trucks is the word integrity.
Yeah.
That is so key to running a successful business.
Sure.
Be responsible for what you do.
Yeah.
You
Be
guys,
accountable.
You guys are right there for that. And
But so are you.
yes,
You know, when I ask you for something, for a project or whatever, you get it done.
I do.
Yeah.
And here's the thing is, if I don't buy it, I'm not going to sell it.
Yeah.
You know, so I take pride in what I do. You know, and you guys got so many different avenues of things that, you know, we perfect it. And then here comes a new logo. And then we have to, you know, restructure it to work with all the shirts, you know, and we do a couple of test trials, but it's great, you know, because it makes me a better printer by, you know, always constantly changing stuff. Because
it's exciting to be creative sometimes, you know?
Well, I'll pivot on that thought. Like, as you know, there's so many printing organizations, there's just like HVAC and plumbing companies. It's a very saturated market. What would you say differentiates your organization from the other printing companies?
That's a great question. Well, the one thing is I'm the owner of this company, and every client deals with me. They don't deal with a sales rep. They don't deal with an accounting department. They don't deal with an online person. So you're going to get customer service, and I deliver all my projects locally to all my clients. So it's a one-on-one. Now, I'm not a big print company, but I can provide big services, you know, and I think that what separates me from a lot of different people is that you have connection with the owner. You can relate. So when I walk into a client's office, I'm, hey, here's your project. Thank you so much. And next, you know, like, hey, we're thinking about, you know, doing something next month on some brochures and pamphlets. Is that something you're interested in? Of course. So they have a connection with me. So that's how I feel.
It's almost kind of like a shared vision sometimes.
Yes.
You know? Yeah.
100%. So I'm one-on-one with my clients. You know, I'm small enough to stay that way. You know what I mean? But big enough to continue to do big projects for people. So.
Yeah. Well, you'd have to if you're doing Picture Rock's cleaning, heating, and plumbing projects, because I imagine they throw many curveballs your way.
When that shirt order comes in April or May, I know it's going to be around 100. They get ready for the summer, you know, the busy season, and it's great to be part of this organization. You know, just I walk around talking to people. See that jingle on the radio? I said, that's my friend.
Yeah, for sure.
You can't miss that jingle. That's
awesome. We thought we were here to promote you, but I guess apparently we're here to promote Rod, which I'm okay with. Either way.
That's the humble part of me.
Yeah.
give and take. You have to give
absolutely.
and take.
Which I think, I mean, I think this is symmetry of our lives in this show, and kind of the way we operate here. Everybody in this room is like we're give and take people.
Yes.
And we were talking about in the green room beforehand why you guys are friends is because if you say you're going to do something, you do it.
Yes.
And Ron's for at least a year now. Whenever he kind of people ask him why we've been working together for so long, he says, because when I tell him I'm going to do something, I do it. So, yeah, it's hopefully that you guys listening, if you don't take anything away from what we're saying, if you tell somebody you're going to do something, please do it.
Just do it.
Yeah. That's right.
So
Yeah.
yes.
So how can people get a hold of you if they want to utilize your services?
Okay, it's an easy website. It's Robert at compressionprinting.com, or you can contact me at 520-331-8564. You can talk directly to me. If for some reason I don't answer, leave a message and I'll call you back, and then we can start the process. It's pretty simple. It's like calling a friend.
Awesome.
All right. Thank you, Robert. Thank you so much for coming in.
Guys, thank you for having me. It's been
Yeah.
great.
Yeah. We'd like to thank our sponsors, Piper Family Painting, Steamy Concepts, Tucson Pack and Ship, Tucson Tamale, and Picture Rocks Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing.
Oh, yeah, and also go to commongoodtucson.com to find out more about the show as well as the work that we're doing to help homeless veterans get connected with housing. We'll catch you right after the break.
All right. We are back with the guys next door. That was a good interview. Yeah.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
Man, in like 10 years, 15 years, I'm going to have that's going to be my goal for the next 15 years. I'm going to get the group of friends like Ron has. So that way I'm having lunch and I'm hanging around just the caliber of men that you have. 'Cause
Yeah.
You've just, some of the guests that you've brought into the show, I mean, including who we're about to have on the show right now, is just like, man, you're living life, bud. You're living life.
I'm blessed.
Yeah, you are blessed. Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. So
You're
go ahead and-
living the dream.
That's
yeah,
right.
he's living
That's
the dream.
right.
Yeah, no, all pun intended.
Speaking of that, our next guest is Raul Soto Romero with Southern Arizona Sports Talk.
Yep. With powered by Live the Dream Media.
Yeah. How you doing, man?
Doing great, man. Thank you guys for having me on. This is
Yeah.
my radio debut, so I'm super
all
excited.
right.
Yeah.
Awesome, man. So tell us about your sports talk show.
I'll start from the very beginning. Kind of
Okay.
happened by accident. I went on a episode at LTD with my uncle Edgar Soto.
Uh-huh.
Mm.
Which
And
we've
I-
had on the show a couple times.
Yeah, big shout
Yep.
out to him.
Mm.
And jokingly, I made the joke to Clint, like, hey, if you ever need an intern, let me know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then next thing you know, I'm interviewing with Dave the next week, and then
It
I
just
have
all fell into
It all
place.
fell into place. All
Yeah.
God's work, and
Yeah.
fell in place. Ended up with Southern Arizona Sports Talk, and the purpose of it is just giving people a platform to tell their stories.
Yeah.
Everyone has a story
Right.
that could help someone going through the same situation.
Mm.
Right.
So I want to use my platform to first of all, spread God's word,
Yeah.
Mm.
and spread out people's stories to help someone going in through a similar situation.
Yeah.
Mm.
And you have a lot of high school coaches on there,
Yeah.
which is
Yeah.
really cool. We've had a couple high school coaches on our show too, but
Mhm.
they're a lot of times they're the unsung heroes. I mean, they're doing all that hard work, and a lot of times they just don't get the credit for it. You know, I mean,
Absolutely.
it's a job that takes a lot of time and blood, sweat, and tears,
Mhm.
but there's not a lot of thanks a lot of times.
Yeah, and I'm just
Yeah.
grateful that I have the platform to kind of give them, like how people say, the roses. So
Yeah.
For example,
Mm.
Coach Phillips, kind of learning about everything he's doing to make
Mm.
Tucson football more like Texas football,
Yeah.
with the fireworks, the crowds, and stuff.
Oh wow.
And just giving him the praise for trying to make Tucson football better.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. So what does the near future look like for your show?
A lot of good guests coming up. Got to shout out the two guys coming on my show, Christopher Quiroz and Gabe Gomez. Those are the first two MMA fighters to be sponsored
Ah,
athletes.
okay.
They wore the logo on the shorts, man. That was amazing.
Really?
Yeah, they're going to be on. Then I have my old coach, Mark Morris from Tucson High baseball.
Okay.
And then we have the Sahuarita wrestling coach coming on.
Wow.
Yeah,
Very
and then a
cool.
lot more coming.
Yeah.
I don't want to give away too of my secrets, but let me tell you this. Tune in. You're always going to learn something about sports, everyday life, and we throw in some God work in there too.
Very cool. Very
Nice.
cool.
And up to this point, I mean, bring us back, particularly for me. I mean, and Ron loves to do this. Not until we start the show usually do I even know who our guests are going to be or their background. So fill me in on yourself, your background, who you are, and then when did the show start and some of the highlights and lowlights of your show so far.
So, born and raised in Tucson, Arizona.
Mm.
Two great parents. My mom, Edie Soto, Augie Romero. First of all, I got to give a lot of praise to my dad because I don't do enough of it, and I wouldn't be in the spot I am today without him developing the work ethic that he put in me. Played baseball my whole life. That's where part of the work ethic came from.
Mhm.
And then just went through some ups and downs in baseball. And then I'll take it back a little bit more. I actually started podcasting by accident.
Okay.
I wasn't playing that much in my last year of baseball, and I'm like, I need to do something. So we started doing a podcast.
Okay. Yeah.
And then we did that, and you know what? That kind of set me up for the journey that I'm on now. If you want to talk about the highs and lows of the show, it's kind of just learning how to grind in a different way.
Yeah.
I'm not so much tired physically as I was with baseball,
Yeah.
more mentally, but I have a huge support group around me, and a lot of people going through similar situations, working 3 jobs, going to school, and me seeing them do it, like, all right, if they can do it, I can do it. So,
That's cool.
yep.
And who would you say like have been? You mentioned Coach Phillips. Who have been some of your other like guests that you've had in your show that you're like, man, that was a score that I was able to have him on the show, and the conversation that came out of that was just like, I didn't expect that, but it blew my socks off.
Yeah. So my favorite guest isn't even an athlete.
Okay.
So his name is Derek Hernandez, my 8th grade science teacher.
Oh wow.
And I say that
Okay.
because I'll put myself on blast a little bit. I almost failed 8th grade.
Okay. Yeah.
I was almost
it happens. It happens to the best of us. Yeah.
And then he
Girls, sports, there's just a lot of
Yeah,
video
you're
games,
growing up
distractions,
during
you know?
that time, and you're just like, whoa, all these.
It's like a weird age, like 7th, 8th grade. That's
Yeah.
a weird age. You know,
Yeah.
you're trying to be a man, but you're still a kid, and all that
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah, and you got everything going on, and none of it's
Yeah.
school.
Yeah, that's
But
right.
he's the teacher that made sure I didn't fail,
Cool.
and we had an agreement. He's like, if you ever make the major leagues, I want front row tickets to your debut. So I never made the major leagues,
Yeah.
but the next best thing was a show. So to kind of be able to bring him on and show him like, hey, dude, you putting effort in me worked out in the right direction. That meant a lot to me.
Wow. Fantastic.
I don't usually have these conversations on the air, but regularly when I sit down, have coffee and lunch with people, and even Ron, I'm sure he's probably even heard me say this before, people refer to me as a dream weaver because I love to just sit down with people and kind of see like where their dreams are, where they see why God put them on this planet. And particularly it seems like within, remind me the name of the
Southern Arizona Sports Star.
some of the
Yeah.
Arizona Sports Star. With that project, where's your dream lie within that? What do you see, like, let's just say 10 years from now, just for funsies?
So my main goal with anything I do, whatever career I end up, if it's in media or wherever I end up, I want to be able to help at-risk youth by building community centers and helping people get through high school and be in the right direction in life. You know, I come from a family of educators. I've been able to see what happens with good teachers, bad teachers. And my main goal with every platform I have, whatever platform God gives me, I want to be someone that people can learn from and make the right decisions from. And the community centers, I've been saying that since I was 18 years old. And just giving kids a place to go to school, go to school and go somewhere afterwards that's safe, that would be a huge goal of mine. For media, same thing as baseball, I want to be the best. I want to make sure in 10 years, if this is still around, that people remember Southern Arizona Sports Sox as the #1 show in Arizona for sports.
That's cool.
Man, how'd you get so wise being so young?
I'm gonna go back to my dad.
Okay.
I'm gonna go back to my
All right.
dad, and you know what? It's one of
You
those
just have
things.
that great family surrounding you.
Yeah, and it's like one of those things where there's a lot of life lessons I hated growing up.
Sure.
But now being in a situation where I can kind of see where it's led me.
Yeah.
Man, if he wasn't as hard as me as he was when I was young, I would not
Right.
be in the situation that I am today.
Right. Now that you're a little bit older, you're like, oh, my dad was smart.
Yeah, I'm like,
he knew-
that's what he meant.
He knew what he was talking about. Yeah. Definitely. Yeah. I remember that. I remember thinking how dumb my parents were. And then now, a few years later, you're like, oh, now that I'm
Yeah.
on my own.
Yeah, you're saying the exact same things to your kids that they said to you that you hated to hear.
Yep.
I'm noticing that in coaching right now too.
Yeah.
I'm coaching at Marana right now. Some of the ways I've been coaching, I'm like, oh my god, I sound like my dad.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But it goes back to like the consistency and, the mindset, and just you have to get everything right, and you have to get all those little things right.
Yeah.
And then the big things will come. And the same thing with your sports show. You're doing all those little details behind the scenes so that you have a good show.
Absolutely,
Yeah,
all the
that
hours.
counts.
I called it scouting.
Yeah.
That's on. I'm
That's
scouting
right.
like when I first started, man. I would put in about 50 hours a week just trying to learn the guess.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. I
Interesting.
call it stalking, but
Stalking. Hey, whatever works. Whatever works.
Well, you get lucky. It works out well for us. Most of the people we've known for a long time, or we're
Yeah.
already stalking on Facebook
Right.
already, and it was just on our wish list, like to be able to talk them into coming on our show, and they
Yeah.
just happened to say yes. But like in that same note, though, for you, for people that are listening right now, like what would you ask of them in regard to supporting your show, or in regard to helping you get to that next level with your show?
First thing, watch the show.
Mm-hmm.
It's every Friday at 8:30 a.m.
Okay.
It's on YouTube, Spotify, Facebook, on the Live the Dream Media app. You can
Okay.
download that on Google Store or
Google Store or your Apple Store.
Yeah, Apple
Yep.
Store. And then just send me guests.
Mm.
One of the real cool things we had last week was someone that's on a club team as same club team that Andy Lopez's son is coaching on.
Mm.
Suggested that I have him on, gave me his information, and we had a conversation. I'm like, oh my goodness, this would be a great guest.
Mm-hmm.
And then just follow our stuff, keep liking our stuff, keep showing support. At the end of the day, man, for being so new, the community, I felt the love from the community.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's cool getting recognized going around the stores a little bit.
Yeah,
That's the
Yeah.
cool
That's
part.
my
I'm not.
favorite- That's my favorite part.
Yeah, I'm not used to that. Someone's like, "Hey, don't you have that
Yeah,
sports show?" I'm like,
uh-huh.
"Oh shoot, you remember me?"
Yeah. Yeah, I did the trippiest thing. I was at court once waiting to get documents, and I had some guy, I was with my son, we were just kind of butting around, and he was looking at his phone, looking at me, and looking at his phone, looking at me, and I was like, this is kind of creepy. And he walks right up to me, puts his phone right in my face, doesn't even talk, just shoves his phone in my face. And I look at it and I'm like, okay, yeah, that's me. And he's like, yeah, I'm a fan of your show. I'm like, oh, okay, well, your approach wasn't the best, but thank you.
You're like, "What are you doing there?"
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Very cool. Well, tell us again how people can watch your show and where it's at, and even watch some past shows.
Yeah, so same thing. We got all the shows on the Live the Dream Media app. You can get it anywhere where you get your apps at: YouTube, Spotify, Facebook, Southern Arizona Sports Talk.
Awesome. Man.
Yeah, and then I got to say a huge shout out to Dave Samanano and Clint Peak, because those are the two men that are been huge mentors to me
Yeah.
and put me in this situation. And I got to shout out my Highwire family as well, because at the end of the day, those are my best friends,
Okay.
and they make life easier going into the weekend, just being able to relax and hang out with the homies. Got to
Very
give
cool.
them a shout out too.
Very cool. Well, thank you so much for being on the show with us.
Thank you for having me on.
Yeah. We'd like to thank our sponsors, Piper Family Painting, Steamy Concepts, Tucson Pack and Ship, Tucson Tamale, and Picture Rocks Cooling, Heating and Plumbing.
Yeah, as well. Catch our past shows on YouTube, Facebook, as well as go to commongoodtucson.com to figure out about what we've been doing in the past, what we're going to do in the future, as well as veteranrescuemission.org, where we're out there locating and connecting homeless veterans with housing, and we need as much help as we can get. As well as if you're a homeless veteran that needs help, call 520-329-9192. I'm here to help. God bless. We'll catch you next week.